Hello dear viewers, welcome to our channel. It's very good to have you here. In this video we are going to have a look at a sliding mesh type gearbox. A sliding mesh type gearbox is a kind of gearbox where gears are selected by sliding the output gear. Well, when you look at the component parts of this manual transmission, here we have the input shaft, here we have the input coming from the clutch. Here we have the countershaft. This is a countershaft, and these gears are countershaft gears. Countershaft or lay shaft, sometimes it is known as. This is the input gear. This is always in mesh with the counter gear on the countershaft. So this is in constant mesh. When power is supplied, this one is driving this one. So they are in constant mesh. Have a look. Now, in modern manual transmissions, speed is selected by using a synchronizer assembly. But when it comes to a sliding mesh type gearbox, speed is selected by sliding the output gear. For example, here we have one output gear that will slide. Here we have another output gear that will slide. And here we have idler gear for reverse. Now let us see how it is operated. On the countershaft, the smallest gear on the countershaft belongs to first gear. So this is a countershaft gear for first gear. This will be a countershaft gear for second gear. So this is a 3-speed manual transmission. So when first gear is selected, this smaller gear is driving the larger gear on the output shaft. This is the output shaft. So this will be driven by the countershaft. Now speed will be selected by sliding this gear on the output shaft and engaging it to the counter gear. So for example, when first gear is selected, this is how it is engaged. When it is disengaged, it will be slided out from mesh. When gear is selected, it will be slided in such a manner. So this is how speed is selected on a sliding mesh type gearbox. Now depending on the gear shape, you can see that all the gears on a sliding mesh type gearbox are spur gears. So this is how it is selected. Let's power it up and see how power is taken out. For example, when selecting first gear, clutch will be depressed, power flow is interrupted. Now, first gear is selected. Power will be flowing from the input shaft to the counter shaft, then from the counter shaft first gear to the output shaft first gear. Please note that this gear is splined to the output shaft. Now let's remove it. It's out. When second gear is selected, in a similar fashion, when second gear is selected, we're going to slide this gear to mesh with this gear. That will be second gear. Let's see it in action. Now this transmission is in second gear. Power from the input shaft is going to the counter. Then from the counter second gear is going to the main gear of second gear. Then from the second gear it is splined to the output shaft. So now this gear is second gear. When third gear is selected, this is a 3-speed transmission. This assembly will be joined to the input. We will have a direct drive. So for engaging third gear, we will slide this unit and it will be coupled to these cues. Now it is a direct drive. Power from the engine, from the clutch, will directly go to the output shaft. So we are having a 1-to-1 ratio. This is the direct drive, third gear. Now when it comes to reverse gear, we have a reverse gear idler right here, and then this idler is joined to a reverse gear on the countershaft. There is a gear there. So by sliding this first gear to mesh with the idler gear, we can have a reverse gear. Let's see it. Now the whole assembly is moving in reverse. To have a nice view, let's have it. As you can see, the idler gear is joined to the output gear, and right there we have a gear for the reverse on the countershaft. Now the gear is in neutral. So this is how the sliding mesh type gearbox operates. This type of gearbox is not currently in use on modern vehicles because the sliding mesh type gearbox are very noisy and they are not suitable for high speed operation. So they are limited to low speed vehicles like farm machineries and tractors. And the modern manual transmission is using a synchro mesh type gearbox. And besides being noisy when shifting, due to the fact that only one teeth is transmitting power at any given time on a spur gear, they are becoming obsolete. But when it comes to helical gears, more than one gear can be in mesh at any instant time, so that will have a large load carrying capacity. But when it comes to this type of gears, because of the spur configuration, only one gear will be receiving power at any given time. So they are not recommended for high speed operation. And spur gear shifting is very noisy. Well, this is all we have for you in this presentation. I hope you have enjoyed looking at this sliding mesh type gearbox configuration. If you like this video, please smash the like button. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification so that you will be notified whenever we come up with another video. Till then, stay safe.